Welcome to Hushed Hauntings. Tonight, we travel back to a fog-shrouded corner of early America Place steeped in mystery and dread. On the banks of Tennessee's Red River, in a quiet hamlet known today as Adams, something ancient and malevolent took root over 2 centuries ago. This is the story of the Bell Witch Curse, a legend that refuses to die. Our tale begins in 1817, when farmer John Bell, his wife Lucy, and their large family were prospering on their 320-acre homestead in what was then the Red River settlement. The Bells were respected and devout, their life defined by hard work, faith, and simplicity. But peace has a fragile pulse, and something, it seems, had noticed them. The first signs were strange but subtle. One evening, while walking the edge of his cornfield, John spotted a bizarre creature lurking at the tree line. It had the body of a dog, but its head resembled that of a rabbit-on unnatural fusion. When John approached, it vanished silently into the brush. In the days that followed, more strange animals were seen around the property. A giant bird perched silently on a fence post, an enormous black dog glaring with intelligent eyes, even a ghostly girl swinging from a tree branch in the orchard. Then came the sounds. What began as soft tapping, like a gentle knock on the walls, and night soon escalated. The Bells heard chains being dragged across the floors, heavy footsteps stomping through empty rooms, and furniture scraping against the floorboards with no one near. Voices whispered through the walls. As the nights wore on, the phenomena became more aggressive. The children were the first to be touched. Literally, their bed covers were yanked away while they slept. Invisible hands slapped them, tugged their hair, pinched their skin. Betsy Bell, the youngest daughter, suffered the worst of it. She was frequently thrown from her bed, left with bruises and scratches that seemed to appear out of thin air. And then the voice came. At first, it was a murmur, a low, breathy mumble that could be dismissed as wind or imagination. But it grew louder, more distinct. The entity began to speak in full sentences, debating scripture, quoting sermons, mocking the family. It introduced itself as Kate, claiming to be the spirit of Kate Batts, a woman who had once quarreled with John Bell over a land dispute. Though the real Kate Batts was still alive, the voice adopted her name and declared a chilling mission to kill John Bell. Word of the haunting spread quickly. Neighbors and travelers flocked to the Bell property, hoping to witness the unexplainable. Some came out of curiosity, others out of fear or spiritual duty. Many left terrified, some bruised. One of the most well-known guests to the Bell household was none other than Andrew Jackson, the general who would later become the 7th President of the United States. In 1819, Jackson traveled to the Bell farm with a small entourage. He had heard the stories and wanted to see for himself what was happening. According to legend, as his carriage approached the Bell property, the wheels suddenly froze in place, the horses bucked and refused to move forward. Then, a sharp female voice, unseen but loud, mocked Jackson and his men. The carriage suddenly lurched forward on its own, and the party continued to the house. That night, Jackson's men reportedly encountered the witch firsthand. One man was slapped, another thrown to the ground. By dawn, the entire group had fled, with Jackson supposedly saying, "I'd rather fight the British again than face the Bell Witch." While that story remains debated by historians, the intensity of the haunting is not. Over time, the entity focused its rage more and more on John Bell. He began experiencing mysterious health issues, violent facial spasms, throat paralysis, seizures. Doctors were baffled. No treatment helped. The voice of Kate often taunted John, cackling that she would one day take his life, and in December of 1820, she claimed to have succeeded. John Bell died on December 20th, 1820, after months of deteriorating health. Following his death, the family found a small vial of black liquid hidden in the cupboard. When a drop was placed on the tongue of their cat, the animal died instantly. Kate's voice then echoed through the house, gleefully announcing that she had given John the poison herself. The vial was thrown into the fire, where it erupted into a blue flame and vanished. With John dead, the activity began to subside. But Kate wasn't done yet. She declared she would return in 7 years, and in 1828 she did, briefly. During that time, she is said to have visited John Bell Jr., engaging in lengthy philosophical conversations about life, death, the afterlife, and even the Civil War, which hadn't yet occurred. After a few weeks, she vanished again, saying she would return in 107 years, which would have been 1935. Some researchers claimed subtle paranormal activity was reported on the Bell property that year, but nothing like the terror of the 1800s. Even today, many believe the Bell Witch never truly left. Her alleged spiritual home to Bell Witch Cave sits on private property near the original Bell farmstead. This cave, a narrow, winding karst formation deep beneath the earth, is a place of uneasy stillness. Visitors have reported disembodied voices, shadowy figures, flickering lights, and sudden drops in temperature. Electronics fail without explanation, and some claim to have been pushed or scratched while inside. The cave remains a destination for thrill seekers and paranormal investigators, and locals continue to tell stories of strange things happening on and around the old Bell land. Of course, not everyone believes. Skeptics argue that the Bell Witch story is a classic case of mass hysteria, amplified by religious fervor and superstition. Some theorize that John Bell's symptoms could have been caused by neurological conditions such as Bell's palsy, epilepsy, or a stroke. Others claim that the entire haunting was fabricated or exaggerated by later generations, particularly Martin Ingram, who wrote an authenticated history of the Bell Witch in 1894, over 70 years after the events. Ingram's book was based largely on the diary of Richard Bell, John's son, who had written his memories down years after the fact. No original diary has ever been found. Still, there's something about the Bell Witch that refuses to be dismissed. Maybe it's the consistency of the details, the sheer number of witnesses, the physical violence, the voice, the death, or maybe it's something older, some deep, ancient dread that lives in the shadows of remote places. A fear we can't quite name, but recognize instantly when we feel it. Real or imagined, the Bell Witch remains one of the most chilling and thoroughly documented hauntings in American history, and it reminds us that sometimes the past doesn't stay buried. Sometimes it watches, and sometimes it speaks. Next time on Hushed Hauntings, we'll descend into the Bell Witch Cave itself, where many believe her spirit still stirs in the darkness. If you're brave enough, you'll come with us. But for now, leave your lights on, keep your questions quiet, and remember, stay hushed and stay haunted.